Y ahora sí, les voy a pedir un fuerte aplauso para darle la bienvenida a Holly Petroff, Uruguay. Welcome, Holly, to Uruguay.
Buenas tardes a todos. Bienvenidos. That's all I've got. Good evening, everyone. I'm delighted to have the opportunity to be here, particularly because our Great Place to Work team told me that in Uruguay, you know how to party. I'm looking forward to being a part of the celebration this evening. But to get us started, I'd like to introduce to you a few new concepts that we've been looking at Great Place to Work, like my boss, Michael, told us about. He truly was very disappointed that he couldn't make it here this evening, but as he described, he lost someone who was a dear loved one to him. And I'm delighted and honored to have the opportunity to take his place this evening, but he sends his regards. At Great Place to Work, we have been studying, recognizing, and advising workplaces all over the world for over 30 years. This is something we're very proud of. We started with 1 or 2 locations 30 years ago because people were passionate about this idea that people could actually want to come to work every day. And it seemed like a strange thing that people would want to come to work, to desire to be part of a company, and to give their best. And so we wanted to learn more. That's how Great Place to Work started. It was a social experiment. And as a result, we have a social mission. We've had one for over 30 years, which means we've had a social mission before they were cool. So what does this mean? It means that everyone that we hire has a commitment to building great places to work that contribute to a better world. We'll talk more about how that actually makes sense, how you can have a great place to work that's better for business and ultimately better for the world. We have a huge global footprint at Great Place to Work. We have offices in over 60 countries, and we survey almost 100 countries around the world. And this matters because it helps us understand what people at work really want from their employers, no matter the country that you live in. And interestingly, what we've found is that people all over the world want the same thing. It may look differently from country culture to country culture, but everyone around the world wants to trust the people they work for. Is there anyone who does not want to trust the people they work for? This is pretty obvious, maybe not sounding like thought leadership to you yet, because everyone wants to trust the people they work for. And so this is the foundation of all great workplaces. Everyone that's being recognized this evening has high levels of trust between management and their employees. These are great workplaces who take the time to get to know their people and invest in their success. We also know that the best of the best workplaces in the world have something more. The bar is higher, and as a result, at Great Place to Work, we've raised the bar. We call this our for-all methodology. It starts with organizations who have very clear values. Not just values on a wall or on a website, but values that are used as a decision-making tool in the organization. Where when a tough decision needs to be made, leaders look at the values to decide how to make that decision and do it with integrity no matter the cost. In these Great Place to Work for all organizations, they also have leaders who are effective leaders. Leaders who are credible, competent, and set a clear vision and strategy for their people, knowing that when their people understand where the organization is going, they'll be able to help their leaders get there. Here's where the model gets interesting. In these great work environments, we also know that they maximize the potential of every employee, no matter who they are or what they do. This is a differentiator in how we measure great work environments. The term maximizing potential simply means that every one of us at work has a choice about how much we give to our employer. I will get paid the same today if I give you 80% of my effort tonight or if I give you 150% of my effort. It's better for Great Place to Work if I give my all. These leaders know that. And as a result, they create an environment for people to give their best. That's what maximizing human potential is, and that's what we call For All. You're going to hear me talk a lot about For All tonight. So remember, that's about creating opportunity for everyone, no matter who they are, what they do, where in the hierarchy they sit, and no matter their personal differences. A great place to work for all. And when leaders create this environment, people choose to give back to their employer in a different way. If you've ever had a great leader, you know this. You wanted to give a little bit more because of the relationship with your leader. Because they cared about you, you cared a little bit more about your work. And as a result, it leads to everyone contributing. We call this innovation by all. And of course, there are significant business benefits to anyone who works in an environment like this one. It starts with a strong foundation of trust, and it builds from there. Attaining this is not easy. It's very easy to talk about. It's actually challenging to do because it forces each of us to think about our leadership every day in every interaction, doing right by everyone in our organizations. The good news is it's worth the effort. When organizations create innovation by all cultures, where everyone is contributing and giving their best to the business, they outperform the competition by 5.5 times. Let me say that again. Innovation by all cultures outperform their competition by 5.5 times the year-over-year revenue growth. This is significant business benefits. And when we studied these workplaces, the only difference was that their people indicated they worked in a culture that was innovation by all. We wanted to learn more. This is a very important finding, and we had to understand why are some people in an environment where they're giving their best and other people are not. So we asked many questions to find out what are the differentiators? What makes this different in these organizations? The answers to this question were the ones that gave us the greatest prediction of whether organizations would be innovation by all cultures, meaning businesses who were more likely to make more money. Answers to the question, how many times you've had meaningful opportunities to contribute to new and better ways of doing things. It might surprise you that this, of all of the questions, was the one that could predict business performance. In fact, it was. Notice the term meaningful. This means that people actually felt like their contribution was important or meaningful to the organization. When we talk about the term innovation, sometimes it can be confusing because innovation means different things to different companies. When we talk about innovation at Great Place to Work, it's very broad. Our definition of innovation is new and better ways of doing things. So every time I use the word innovation tonight, I want you to be thinking about new and better ways of doing things, because that's what we're talking about. That means the next big idea that disrupts the industry in the region, as well as the small idea that benefits a team of 2 or 3 people being able to be more efficient in their day-to-day work, and everything in between. It's simply new and better ways of doing things. We think that that broad definition of innovation creates the opportunity for everyone to contribute, not just people in a corporate office setting or people in research and development roles, but everybody has the opportunity to contribute. When we got the answers to this question, it was surprising and significant. What we found is that people who said they had a lot of opportunities to contribute to new and better ways of doing things were people that were having a very different experience at work than people who said they had very few or no opportunities to contribute. Think about that. People who said, I have a chance to weigh in and have a voice in my job were people who said they loved the work environment. They were people who said they were inspired, not just by the mission and the purpose of the company, but inspired by their colleagues. This is a very different way of experiencing the work environment. These were people that said, money is important. We all have bills to pay. But my motivator is something greater than money. It's for the sake of the relationship with my colleagues, with my leader, or with the organization. And as a result, these people felt very safe in the work environment and could see that the organization was investing in them. That's very different than the experience of people who said they had very few or no opportunities to contribute. These people felt unsafe. They reported to us and used words like afraid, fearful, scared when they described their workplace experience. And the only difference between these groups was their answers to the question about having opportunities to contribute to new and better ways of doing things. So we needed to learn more. And what we found is that people who said they had a lot of opportunities were ready to innovate. They were ready to contribute to the success of the organization. They were able to move faster, or they were considered flexible or agile. These are the kinds of people you want on your team. They're the kinds of people I need on my team. And what we found as we studied different organizations, we found that depending upon the culture of the company and the leadership of the company determined how many people in their company were ready to innovate. So if you were operating at the accelerated ratio, for every 11 people who were ready to move into the future with you and help you shape the future, 2 people were having this experience that we call friction or drag, meaning for every 11 people moving in the direction you needed them to, 2 people were holding back your ability to do that. And as we studied more, we found that some organizations had some frightening friction ratios. In fact, the global average is much less positive than the one you see here. Our belief is that the future is all about maximizing the potential of every single person in the organization. We're paying our people no matter what. Wouldn't it be amazing if everyone gave their best? If everyone cared about their work as much as you do? Maybe you'll never get everyone, but I know we can get more people, and that's the opportunity. And so, each of us has an experience for why we care about this. We all chose to come here tonight for a reason. Many of you, it's to see where you ranked on a list. I understand that. Why do you care about where you ranked? Because you've been working hard to create great experiences for your people, and you want to see how you stack up relative to the competition. For me, my moment was recently, I was at a networking party for work, and I met an individual who was in his mid-60s, about to retire, and he is an executive of a law firm. We were talking about what we do for a living, and he was very skeptical of my job at Great Place to Work. He said, "That's soft stuff, it doesn't matter, it's very touchy-feely." Nice to meet you too. And so I swallowed hard and decided to learn more about why he felt so strongly that what I've committed my life to didn't matter. So I started to ask him some questions. Have you ever had a great leader that inspired you? Have you ever had a leader that believed in you more than you believe in yourself? Have you ever had a leader that cared about you as a whole person with a life outside of work? No surprise, his answers were no, no, and no. And as a result, he was very skeptical of the idea that anybody could love their job, that anybody could actually have a great workplace experience. And that's why I and our team here in Uruguay have dedicated our lives to helping people see what's possible. Because I don't want to meet people who are about to retire, who have never in their whole careers had a great workplace experience. Think of the magnitude for him and what he could have become, what he could have contributed to the business if he had a great leader. Better yet, think about the impact he could have had on the people who report to him if he had been creating great experiences for them. This is why we do what we do at Great Place to Work, because we know that it's better for business, it's better for people, and it's better for the world. See, all I hear in that story is unrealized potential. He could have given more. He could have done better. No one was there to inspire him. Now, some of you will say, my leader is not great, Holly. I get it. I've had some not so great leaders in my career too. But what I'll tell you is this. If you don't have a great leader today, you know what it feels like to not be valued. to not be heard. And as a result, you have a responsibility to lead differently because you know the negative impact not having a great leader can have on you. In fact, that's how I learned to begin to change my own behaviors, was because I started to realize that I was behaving in the very ways that took away my potential and held me back when I was an individual contributor. The opportunity we have then and the new frontier of business is maximizing every ounce of human potential for all of your people. We recently conducted the world's largest culture study in history, an expansive study that helps us understand how people all over the world are experiencing their work environment. And the results were astonishing. 1 out of every 2 people in the world hates their job. 1 out of every 2 people in the world hates their job. And we wonder why we have such a global economic crisis on our hands. 50% of the population doesn't feel heard, cared for, or respected. Yet we expect them to give their best at work every day, and we wonder why they are not contributing at a higher level. It gets worse. What we found at a global level is that for every 2 people ready to innovate, 4 people were holding them back. If I do the math on that, that means it's virtually impossible for the average organization around the world to move forward because 4 people are having an experience that holds them back from giving their best to the business. Some of you are thinking, who are the 4 people and can I fire them? No. These are not bad people. These are good people who are not having a great experience. What's interesting here is that this happens in every company. There's no company that has 100% of the people ready to innovate. It's just that companies have more people ready than others. And it all starts with the opportunity for people to contribute to new and better ways of doing things. It's no surprise that if I don't feel valued or respected, I'm not going to value my business or respect the business either. Right? At least it takes me a lot to overcome the fact that I don't feel that way from my company. And as a result, it's not surprising that so few people would recommend their employer or be willing to give extra or be prepared to change when you need them to change. And so when we think about it as business leaders, how could we possibly take advantage of new business opportunities? How could we possibly have a work environment where people are experimenting and testing new ways of doing things, taking risks in service of the business? How could we possibly compete if our people aren't having a great experience at work? I believe that you can't compete. The good news is the best are much better than the rest, including in Latin America, where your results tell us that 9 out of 10 people are experiencing it as a great place to work. And in Uruguay, the results are even better. People in Uruguay want to work in your organizations for a long time, they're willing to go above and beyond, and they're contributing to the productivity of your businesses in ways that we do not see in other places in the world. These are our winning workplaces. I think we should clap for that. It's no surprise that that means that people are experiencing a more innovative work experience as well. People feel that their voice matters, that management genuinely seeks and responds to suggestions and ideas. And that is especially true for our winning workplaces in Uruguay compared to the rest of the competition in your country. Again, 8 out of 10 people are having a positive experience. What's the difference? Psychological safety. When we asked people what's causing them to feel like they can contribute in these other ways, they told us they feel safe. Now, some of you were sitting there saying, safe? Really? Yes. In fact, in Latin America specifically, the #1 driver that indicates people will choose to give their best in your region is psychological and emotional safety. It's actually different in other regions. In other regions, it's things like work-life balance. It's a sense of community. It's a sense of purpose. But in Latin America, it's people feeling cared about, having the information they need to do their jobs, and feeling like they are part of making a difference in the communities where you live. This is important because in Uruguay, your winning workplaces have outstanding results in all 5 of these areas. Take a look at their performance. It starts with leadership effectiveness. Everything we're talking about is about the effectiveness of leaders and having a relationship with your people. It starts with each of us. If it were easier, I would not have a job. This is important and challenging work, but it's worth the challenge when people feel like their leaders are credible, that people feel like they have the information they need to do their jobs, when people understand how their work makes a difference to the vision and the strategy, and they can see that their work has special meaning and purpose. It matters when people feel respected for their contributions, when they feel like they have a voice in decisions that impact them, when management genuinely seeks and responds to their suggestions and ideas, and they feel invested in. It matters when people feel treated fairly, no matter who they are or what they do, regardless of their personal differences, whether it is gender, sexual orientation, potentially a disability, whether it is their age, that no matter their differences, people believe that they are treated fairly. And a great example of this is one from DHL. This is the experience that you want your people to say about your leadership. It's certainly the one I want my people to say about me. This is someone, as a result of having such a positive experience, is willing to go above and beyond for the organization. This is someone who, when it's against the clock, will make sure that last package is delivered, even when it's raining, even when it's bad weather. Because this person is committed to the organization, so they will put the customer first, because DHL has put him first. It's important to remember that everything we're talking about is universal. I have never met anyone anywhere in my world travels that has said trust did not matter to them. We all want to have trust in the relationships we have outside of work, and we want it inside of work too. So it starts with high trust relationships. And then we as leaders have the opportunity to create conditions for people to feel safe so that they can take the risks we need them to evolve our businesses, so that we can outpace the competition, so that we can be wildly successful. We need their best thinking to create an innovation by all culture where everyone has an opportunity to contribute. If you've ever been in a room and you have felt different and as a result unvalued, you understand what I'm talking about. Innovation by all cultures means everyone has a voice, and as a result, business wins every time. People bring better ideas, more ideas that are more aligned with your vision and strategy because you've communicated to them how they make a difference. And as a result, new ideas are adopted faster and implemented much more smoothly. It sounds magical, but it's difficult to do because it requires us to pay attention to everyone and to listen to everyone. These are the key traits of For All leaders. Some of you may already be doing these things today, and if you are, I applaud you. For me, some of these things are natural. For me, some of these things do not come easy. And as leaders, we have to make sure that we're paying attention to the choices we make every day so that everyone has an experience where they can say, I am treated fairly and with respect in my organization. Most important is For All leaders connect everyone to a sense of purpose and inspire them to contribute and nurture differences. For All leaders see the power and the beauty of different perspectives. They challenge themselves to learn and grow with their people. Someone told me a long time ago that the best leaders are those that don't have the best answers, but ask the best questions. And when you create that environment for people, your organizations will win. You want people who enjoy coming to work every day, who care about the business as much as, if not more than, you do. And you want people to champion your workplace and your products and services. I know that's what I want as a leader at Great Place to Work. For those of you who need hard data to see the difference and the business performance of these great for-all work environments, here it is. Our best companies to work for that are publicly traded in the United States have been tracked by us for the last 20 plus years. And we have found that every year, including in 2008, during a significant recession in the world, and especially in my country, best companies were outperforming the competition by nearly 3 times. However, we have begun studying these work environments for their for-all leadership. And what we have found is that companies that have more for-all leaders than the rest of us have nearly 4 times the return, not 3 times, 4 times the return relative to the competition. This is real dollars. This is real pesos. I think I've made my point clear. Creating a great place to work is important. It is the right thing to do. It's better for business. This is not the soft stuff. This is about doing the right thing by your people so you have made it easier for them to do the right thing by the business. It is clearly a better experience for people. And there's no doubt that we're all working together in this way. It's better for the world. I know when I have a great day at work, I am a better person outside of work. I'm a little bit friendlier to the people in the grocery store. I'm a little bit more respectful when I'm driving. These are the ways that contribute to society in a way where we see each other as human beings. We stop seeing labels. We see people for who we are. This is what it means to create a great place to work for all. And we have a team here in Uruguay who is deeply committed to working with your organizations to make that happen for you. I am not on the team in Uruguay, but I got to be in the picture today. This is a team of women who is deeply committed to our mission and committed to the work that we're doing here in your region. They understand the special components and the uniqueness of your culture, and they want to be able to help you quantify your culture so that you know whether you're creating a great place to work for all today. And if you're not, how they can help you understand what you need to do better or differently in order to achieve that goal. These are brilliant women that I was honored to be able to spend the day with today. Because they're committed, like I'm committed, to creating a great place to work for all, whether you work in an environment like this one, whether your work environment is like this one, or whether your work environment is like this one. We believe that everyone should be treated with respect and fairness. And when they are, it creates a better experience for the world. We, in this room, have the opportunity to do better for our economies, for our regions. We have an opportunity to do better by our people and better by the world. But the time is now. And our belief is that our future depends on it. I long for a day when our children or our children's children say, "Mommy, grandmommy, what is a gender gap? Does that mean there was a time where not everybody thought they were treated fairly? Mommy, what is diversity and inclusion? Does that mean there was a time where not everybody felt included?" Can you imagine that time? See, I think it's possible. But it starts with each of us. And it starts with the choices we make as leaders every day to do right by our people and create an environment where it is a great place to work for all. I'm on that leadership journey, and I hope you will join me. And I look forward to celebrating many of you who are already creating those experiences for your work environments later tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Holly, for your words today. No tenemos mucho tiempo, pero sí tenemos tiempo para algunas preguntas. Así que si alguno quiere hacer preguntas, le arrimamos el micrófono para que las pueda hacer y que las escuchemos todos. Levanten la mano el que quiera hacer alguna pregunta. ¿No tenemos preguntas? Si no tenemos preguntas, entonces, thank you, Holly, very much. If you want to take a seat, it's okay.
Thank you.
Y invitamos a Feola, Country Manager de Uruguay, de Great Place to Work, para que también les diga unas palabras.
Bueno, primero que nada, muchísimas gracias a todos. Primero gracias a Holly por su generosidad, por su tiempo, por su dedicación a nuestro mercado, a nuestras empresas que están trabajando en esto de construir un excelente lugar para trabajar. Y bueno, para nosotros la verdad es un gusto poderlos recibir en este espacio nuevo, por primera vez en este tipo de conferencias, que esperamos y deseamos que las hayan disfrutado, que hayan aportado un granito de arena al trabajo que muchos de ustedes están realizando en construir mejores lugares de trabajo, y agradecerles una vez más y esperarlos para la próxima instancia con mucho gusto.